to the BJP.
If you read the Constitution of India, you will find, and many of my colleagues who have not read it should look at it, you will find that India is described as a union of states. India is not described as a nation, it is described as a union of states.
एंड जो कंफ्यूज होता है वो सहज रूप से ऐसे ही बात बोलेंगे.
I personally don't take Rahul Gandhi seriously and his thinking, his senseless remarks all the time. But because he is a leader of his political party and he has spoken these words on the floor of the house, I have to take note of these very, very serious charges he has leveled against the constitutional authorities.
This evening, and we've got a great panel. I'm joined by Jawahar Sarkar, Rajya Sabha MP of the Trinamool Congress, Amiven Yatrik of the Congress Party, Rajya Sabha MP, A. Sarvanan, DMK spokesperson, Sunil Singh of the JDU, Dr.Sarjit Singh of the BJP, N. Ram of the director of the Hindu Publishing Group, and Smita Prakash of ANI. Thank you all very much for being with us. The first part of this program is called the First Punch. It is the first minute that we will give all of you to make your point before we open up the big fight. And the question is this: does Rahul Gandhi's vision of India represent a threat to the BJP? Dr. Sarjit Singh, can you take that question first? Go ahead, sir.
See, the problem is the Constitution, if it was read only once in the last 75 years, it was by his grandmother, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, during emergency. Otherwise, most of the governments, they have tried to live with it and live with it honestly. He cannot cite even one example where any state has been shown any stick for the last 7.5 years by the central government. But you see, he is free to talk anything he wants. Another thing, because what you have shown is a part of what he spoke. He said, because of this present government, the Chinese-Pakistan relations, they have become very strong and they are dangerous for Indian safety.
Okay, all right, your 1 minute has ended over there, sir. We could develop on those points later on. Jawahar Sarkar, you have 1 minute. 1 minute, sir. This is the first punch. The debate will happen later. Your audio is down. Jawahar Sarkar, 1 minute. Does Rahul Gandhi's vision of India, in your belief, represent a threat to the BJP? Your time, first 1 minute starts now.
Okay. I don't know whether it's Rahul Gandhi's vision that we should be discussing. The facts mentioned in Parliament by Mr. Gandhi have a series of implications. The formula.
Okay, sir, your time is up. The only formula over there. A. Sarvanan, DMK spokesperson. There were lots of mention. There was a repeated mention by Rahul Gandhi in Parliament on Tamil Nadu. He gave many examples. But the question is this: does Rahul Gandhi's vision of India represent a threat to the BJP?
Because he was talking too kiddish and too illogical. Because everybody knows that according to the Constitution of India, we are having a cooperative federalism where state and the nation runs with one constitution. And there has to be a strong nation to have strong states. And with a malafide intention, he deliberately tried to have cleavage between the states and the culture with ulterior motives. For his political gains, he can stoop down to whatever level. That is quite clear.
That the BJP has a flawed vision for India, and that according to him, that vision has weakened our nation. But then in the same breath, he also says that the Indian Constitution, he points out, is that it's a union of states and it's not a nation. Now, the concept of nationhood is not an alien concept. I don't know where he got that view from. It's not in conflict with our constitution or our democracy, but then I think we can leave that to political.
Implies federalism or quasi-federalism, and respect for diversity and pluralism also in politics. So that's welcome. He would have been more persuasive had he distanced himself from the over-centralizing drive of the Congress party itself, which historically has done this at the expense of state rights. There's no time to go into it, but it's a fact of life. And so I think he would have been more, and he would have been more persuasive.
Asking Dr. Sarjit Singh of the BJP, Rahul Gandhi in Parliament referred to the Prime Minister as Shehenshah. He said that kings can never have effective control of our country. How would you respond?
See, he made his vision very clear when he supported the Tukde Tukde gang. Let me tell you. And there was only once upon a time, it was a slogan, India is Indira and India is India. Today nobody says Modi is India and India is Modi.
So in other words, you're saying
So
that the Congress is double standard.
his allegation is baseless. It is a sick mind. With a sick mind, he has made his own creation. As a doctor, I feel that he is a disintegrated personality. He has become schizophrenic. The things which are not there,
That is your medical belief, sir. Or is that your personal belief? It's a bit worrying, sir, if you refer to this as...
Yeah, I'm a doctor. I know this is how a paranoid behaves. This is how a disintegrated person behaves.
Mr. Song, can I come in?
Yes, please go ahead, Abhiben, go ahead, respond to that, yes.
This is how he behaves.
No. That's a deeply personal remark, and I don't think that's based on any sound medicine, despite the legal doctor. Abhiben, once you respond, go ahead. That's unacceptable, sir. Abhiben, go ahead.
Totally undignified.
Mr. Song,
Go ahead, Abhiben.
I think, Mr. Song, you can have a one-to-one conversation with a gentleman here. If he is going to use derogatory and defamatory language, I think he himself needs treatment. Yes, it is. No, I think you better be dignified.
She is opposing
You
your
better be dignified on the
characterization of
debate.
Rahul Gandhi as being schizophrenic on the basis of what you say is your medical evidence. That's not correct, sir.
Vishnu, may I say, this
Yes,
man
Mr.
doesn't
Ram.
belong.
The
This
day
man
he
doesn't
will be
belong in
properly
this
examined,
debate.
you will
This
find my diagnosis
this so-called,
100% correct.
this doctor, I don't know
Every
anything
time
about
you
his
open this
health.
mouth,
He doesn't
it
belong
becomes a
here.
joke.
Dr. Dan, would you like to apologize for those remarks? Would
This,
you like
he
to apologize for
he
those
cannot be
remarks?
on such debates. He
Mr.
cannot be on such
Dr.
debates.
Dan, would you like to apologize for those remarks, the personal remarks on what you say is Rahul Gandhi's schizophrenia without a shred of evidence, sir? I'm sorry you cannot make that remark.
This is
Would
disgusting.
you like to take that back and continue, sir?
No. Every time he talks without
It is
any
shameful
basis.
to have such a panelist on your debate.
No, don't blame me, ma'am. Respond to him as I have.
That is
All right. Abhiben, would you like to take on the rest of what he is saying?
withdraw.
1 minute. Abhiben, why don't you take on the rest of what he is saying? When he says that Indira Gandhi, as a prime minister, as a leader, built up a strong centrist nation. And therefore it's disingenuous for Rahul Gandhi to say that, we can't have a strong center to that extent and that it's only federalism that works.
When we cannot go back to that times, and we are talking about today's times, we are talking about the country today, we are talking about unemployment, we are talking about the national TV and talking
He's a
what is
BJP
absolutely
spokesperson.
undignified and derogatory.
Yeah, all right.
Whoever he is.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. I don't think...
India was Indira.
No, sir, Dr. Dan, you're welcome to make your political remarks. But the moment you get personal, you refer to somebody as being schizophrenic and all, that's rubbish. That's unacceptable. Sunil Singh, let me ask you this question.
All existence, all pluralistic thought and action. He does not believe in cooperative federalism, and it is perfectly within our rights to demand and to secure autonomous states, strong states within a strong union. We
All
are
right,
not
okay,
defying
Mr.
the
Prakash.
union. We are cooperating.
You can't bring in the past. I think Mr. Ram alluded to it, and it's true. The list of, if you want to just go about culture, he talked about Ashoka the Great. He was one of the most cruel kings. It's a different matter that later he turned a kind guy. but then he was one of the most cruel kings. When you talk about kinship and things like that, and you talk about state governments dismiss, who dismissed Farooq Abdullah's government? 17 years Prakash Singh Badal sat inside the jail. Who did that? It was the Congress government. I mean, we can go on talking about, there are such blood spots in our democracy, Vishnu, that if we start talking about the past and about cooperative federalism, no, we didn't have it. We didn't have it. Can you imagine today Mamata Banerjee being thrown into jail or Uddhav Thackeray being thrown into jail? Sharad Pawar's government was dismissed by Congress government. There was so much in our, and believe me, at that time, Vishnu, we are all accused of being pliable media.
Is this in fact, Rahul Gandhi was this: you will never ever in your entire life rule over the people of Tamil Nadu. It cannot be done. You cannot win the hearts of people in states like Kerala and Tamil Nadu. He also gave the example of Rajasthan in the way in which the BJP is trying to do it. How would you respond?
See, once and for a long period, for about 50-55 years, Congress was ruling in the center and in the states. Now what will happen tomorrow in Tamil Nadu? Who will come in power after 10 years? Nobody knows. Who will come in power in Kerala? Nobody knows. So this is a question which I don't think it merits any comment. The people elect the representatives, and the representatives, they are in majority from a particular party. They form a government,
So I think
and
that
the government rules the state.
We face a profound linguistic divide between the Hindi belt and the non-Hindi belt. Tamil Nadu is in fact just an example. Rahul Gandhi was trying to push this particular line, that there are huge cultural differences, linguistic differences of tradition. It's not about, sir, it's a bit simplistic to say, we will see who will win the next election. I am trying to ask you to respond directly to Rahul Gandhi's point, sir. And that is, when he says, you will never ever, in your entire life, rule over the people of Tamil Nadu, it cannot be done. Respond to that specifically, sir, based on the
people of Tamil Nadu, they will decide that which party will rule Tamil Nadu. It is the people, neither me, nor Rahulji, nor anybody. It is the people. The people will decide who will rule Tamil Nadu, which party will rule Tamil Nadu, who will become the chief minister. The representatives will decide.
All right,
So
the representatives will decide. Sudhir Singh, what are your views on this issue? Because at one level, all right, so I get the point you're mentioning.
Who will never rule Tamil Nadu?
Sudhir Singh, at one level, this was also going beyond the linguistic issue and us versus them sort of effort by Rahul Gandhi. Now, he didn't quite make this a division between the Hindi belt versus the non-Hindi belt, because he raised the example of Rajasthan. But do you believe that that was in fact what the goal was? To say that they, as in the BJP, the states that the BJP appeals to versus us.